And today's guest on the Financial Planner Life podcast is Joanna Butler from Foster Denovo, and she is Head of Business Operations. There isn't a job she hasn't done here at Foster Denovo in her 18-year career. And we hyper-focus on that culture of innovation and career development.
It is. It's about leading. It's about absolutely that. It's about leading that function, for example, and having passionate people who really want to go that extra mile to deliver that service to your clients, because fundamentally that's what we're all here to do.
We talk about the leadership team that has 50% women within it, which is super inspirational to the next generation of females coming into this business.
You know, I can see more and more younger partners joining us now, which is really encouraging. More and more women joining us as financial planners as well. And that's really encouraging.
You're going to love this episode if you want to learn all about the operations of financial planning companies like Foster Denovo. Joanna, thank you so much for joining me today on the Financial Planner Life podcast. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. This is your first ever podcast.
It is. Lucky me.
I say, well, first of all, right, before we sort of go into the day-to-day of what it is you do here at Foster Denovo, this is, of course, a Foster Denovo Talent Attraction special.
Yep.
One of the things I love about Foster Denovo, and every time I come in here, is I'm learning more and more and more about the people within the business, right? And the foundations that you have in place. But it's people like you in the background that I think are the ones really holding the structure together, creating an ecosystem for good financial planners to come in and accelerate their business forward.
Sure.
And I think the unsung heroes come to mind, you know, the Financial Planner Life podcast. Do we talk enough about the operational side of the business? We've had Helen on the podcast. We've now got you.
Yep.
Tell us what your job title is.
My job title is Head of Business Operations, and I'm responsible fundamentally for all of our client service teams. So all of the teams such as our administration, our paraplanning teams across all of the business. Mm-hmm. So within Foster Denovo, we've got several areas. We've got private wealth, looking after individual clients and their families and their financial planning. We've also got Second Sight, which is our employee benefits division. I look after both those support teams within those areas. We've also got our mortgages and protection as well. So I'm responsible ultimately for making sure we're delivering a first-class service to our clients, as well as to our partners and colleagues within FD.
Fantastic. So you're in the leadership team?
I am indeed, yep.
Fantastic. And I hear nearly 50% of the leadership team are female.
We are. We're very diverse here at FD, I'm delighted to say. Within our leadership team, we are 50% of us ladies, women. And within the business, actually, we've actually employ more women than we do men. So quite unusual, I think, in financial services.
Massively unusual. What, just out of interest, why do you think that is? Do you think that's because, I'm going to ask you first of all, why do you think there's more women in the business than most financial planning companies?
It's a really good question. I guess we just, we hire on talent. We identify talent within the business. Historically, we've just employed more women. And therefore, throughout our journeys, and many of us have stayed here for quite a long time, we've built our careers up. And, myself as a really good example, I've been here for a number of years. I've grown my career up, and now I'm on the leadership team like many of my other colleagues as well.
I also think as well, there's more women in leadership. If they've got more women in leadership roles, I think it's more attractive to women. So They're going to look up and see it's not a board or a leadership team of all men.
Yeah, absolutely.
That there are women in that leadership team as well. And I think as a profession, more women in leadership roles, also promoting the profession as well. It's all well and good being in the roles, but are they promoting it externally to attract more talent and more progression within the profession as well?
Yeah, I mean, we within FD, I think we create a really positive environment around that. It's really aspirational. We've made a number of acquisitions already. I've had feedback directly from members of my team, as well as a broader remit of people within FD, how inspirational it is to see so many women in leadership roles within Foster Denovo. And again, we, when we're going out to meet firms that we're acquiring, or we're talking to other financial planners who might want to join, again, the feedback has been really positive. It's really nice to see a good old selection, really. So it's nice. It's really empowering.
Yeah, brilliant. And also, learning through the journeys of the individuals I've had on the podcast, the career development structure here at Foster Denovo is second to none.
It
I
is.
mean, like people are accelerating through it at their own pace, but they can take a left turn, a right turn. They can go into operations. They can go into marketing. They can go into power planning, or running a practice, or become a financial planner. I think it's really, really exciting. I think every financial planning company that has a clear career framework that is outlining how you can progress from one role to the next is hugely important. And I think you guys are nailing that, and it's clear because the people that are coming through on the podcast who've developed through the company are so excited to be here because they can go up to the next stage.
Yeah.
Is that important to you, involved in that as well?
Massively. We're in a growth phase, which I think is hugely important. And so there are loads and loads of opportunities. For me, I love to be able to mentor, to coach, to develop talent around me. And I've done it with quite a lot of people. We've got frameworks and systems in place in order to support, myself and my teams to help grow them. I in particular do our leadership framework with a number of my direct reports. It's hugely empowering again, and it's so important. I think it's one of my passions is to identify where there are people within our business that want to grow their career. And exactly as you've said, they can go down the financial planner route, or they can go, in the operational side and finance and IT. We try to encourage that as much as possible. It's a really big driver for us. I mean, it's one of the reasons why we're IIP Platinum. We invest in our people. If you do that with the people around you, it makes you really successful. It helps you to deliver a really great client service to our clients. So I think it's hugely important.
Yeah, fantastic. I agree. 100% creates a great culture.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Excellent. Okay, so operations, you can make we're talking about careers, aren't we, really? But you can have a fantastic career within operations. How long have you been here for?
18 years.
Wow.
Quite a long time.
That's
I know
huge.
I don't like it.
For 18 years is amazing.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
You'll have a clock soon. Don't they give you a clock for that at 20 years or something?
Yeah, carriage clock maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'll wait to see at 20 years.
So tell us a little bit about that journey then over 18 years. So first off, how did you end up getting into financial planning, for instance? Okay, was it something you dreamed of as a child, or did you fall into it like everyone else? What was your journey? And then it was 18 years. Where is it taking you?
Yes, funnily enough, I didn't dream of it. I left uni, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and happened to fall into a job in an IFA practice in Surbiton, Surrey, quite a small one. Just went in to support the directors, so, straight out, first job. Loved it, actually, really, really enjoyed it. Just great people, really enjoyed being in financial planning. Stayed there for 5 years, then went on to work at a national financial planning firm. So very different from a really small working environment to a really big organisation. Again, I had then started to specialise in marketing, and I'd done my degree in business studies, so it kind of set me up really well. Spent 5 years there, really great grounding. Again, met huge amounts of people, really enjoyed learning about financial planning. I did my FPC as well, which is a long time ago. Also met some of our founding partners there, including Roger, our CEO, and a number of other partners. So again, really great grounding. Left there, went to the other side, went to work at product providers, only for 6 months. Did not like it. I love the flexibility and the agility of working in financial planning. Did not find that at all on the product provider side. Very difficult making decisions, changing, having any influence at all. And then coincidentally, some of the founding partners, Darren and Mark in particular, who work in Second Sight, approached me to see if I'd come and work at Foster Denovo with them. And I readily accepted. So I joined here 18 years ago as marketing manager for Second Sight. Again, reflecting what I've said already about our values and identifying talent and supporting. I went through that journey and it was brilliant. Darren and Mark were fantastic, brilliant mentors. Again, my next jump in my career. Then went on to be the group marketing manager, so responsible for all of the business, so including our SQL funds at that time, private wealth, private client, as well as Second Sight. Grew a marketing team to around 6 people. Again, for us, that was a big investment in our business as well. And then had the opportunity, Helen spoke to me and said, I think you'd be really good at operations. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but I'll do it anyway. And then I took on the operational function. So for Second Sight in particular at that time, again, constantly growing my career. And I wouldn't have stayed so long if I didn't have those opportunities. 18 years is a long time to be in one place, and some people love it, and I have loved it because I've been given those chances. So at that time, I looked after all of our client-facing functions again. So our health and protection teams, our employee benefit advisors, our member services, our admin teams. Worked with a lot of really great people, still work with a lot of those really great people who helped support me on my journey for my learning and understanding. And then a few years ago, I think it was probably 4 years ago, I got the opportunity once again to take on a broader remit and be part of the leadership team as well, but also to take on the private wealth side and the mortgages and protection. So again, I look after and lead all of those functions across the business now. So quite a journey, really exciting. I'm responsible for the biggest area of the business, have probably about 180 staff I'm responsible for and lead. Got a really great team around me, lots of brilliant colleagues, but a really secure, complementary team who are very focused on, again, delivering a fantastic client services and operations.
Amazing. In all, to be honest with you. In all. 180, that's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
That's incredible. I think the most I've ever had is 25, but I certainly wasn't responsible for the operations side of it. I had somebody else that was looking at that. If I'm honest, the people management side of it wasn't my cup of tea. I'd rather lean into somebody who was more suitable for that. However, I'm really keen to find out personally from you, when it comes to building a team, what do you look for in somebody? How do you build such a solid team that do their job really well? That's really, really interesting to me. And I think a lot of financial planners, for instance, that listen to this might well want to build a team, but don't quite know how to do it because they're brilliant at financial planning, not building teams. So
Absolutely.
let's look at that. Like, what advice would you give for me and them?
I would say, I've worked with a lot of financial advisors, a lot of financial planners over the years, and there are a few that are really good managers, but actually they're brilliant at financial planning. They are not so great at the operational, making sure that we're delivering the service we should be delivering, although they know what they want to do. So don't underestimate the amount of work it actually takes and the investment. Really important to recruit people that are complementary skills to you, I think. I've got a whole wealth of people that work with me, and they've all got different skill sets. I suppose the thing that ties us all together is we want to deliver a fantastic service to our clients. That is the number one. We want to make things better. So, not being afraid to challenge where things might look like they need to be improved or there's gaps. Want to make things efficient, to have a real passion about that. I think that's really important. But I suppose really it's about having complementary skills to yourself. You can't all do the same thing. Otherwise, you'll just have gaps, and being really cognizant of that and making that choice as well. So you might like somebody when you interview them and think they're a great person, but if they don't have the skill set that complements you and that can go and deliver what you need them to do because you're not so good at that bit, I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's the bit that I'm looking for now, is finding those people that are amazing in the areas that I can be honest with myself to say that I'm weak in.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't want to put some energy and effort in understanding it, but I'd much rather have an expert who understands it and I learn that way from them.
Yeah.
Even if I'm considered to be managing them, it's not about managing, it's about bringing people who've got the right skill set to work alongside you so you can deliver a better level of service, right? That's the key thing.
Precisely. It is. It's about leading. It's about absolutely that. It's about leading that function, for example, and having passionate people who really want to go that extra mile to deliver that service to your clients, because fundamentally that's what we're all here to do, is to deliver a first-class experience for our clients. And I think that's hugely important. So I think you've nailed it, really.
Perfect. It just sounds like Foster Denovo as well are just accelerating.
Yep.
They are accelerating. A recent investment from Crestline, acquisitions going on left, right, and centre. How important was that investment from Crestline, and what effect has that had on the leadership team and the business as a whole?
Hugely. It's enabling us to achieve the ambitions that we want around our growth. And I think, Roger has told you quite a bit about that on a previous podcast. It's enabled us to invest in our business, invest in our people, to acquire the right companies. We're all about culture. We're all about the right fit. Roger talks about facilitating our acquisitions, and he's right. We don't want to just, buy companies, say goodbye to the team, just take the clients. It's all about having that right fit, and it's hugely important. Crestline's empowered us to be able to do that. And we do believe we are doing all the right things. We want other companies to come and be part of the journey with us. So, yeah, hugely important.
You've got so many different experiences in this business. So you've worked in so many different departments. How important is that for you then, to be able to move into different departments, understand how they all work? And is this something that you would inspire a up-and-coming operations manager to consider ensuring that they do?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have an operations background. Of course, it would be fabulous if you did, but there are so many other opportunities, and I think it's really important to build strong relationships with other colleagues and teams. So if you can go and spend time in finance and IT and HR, it makes a huge difference. And I think I've had that opportunity to be able to do that. I work again, my colleagues in the leadership team, my team around me, I've been hugely educational. I could not have got to where I am without them, and I learn a lot from my colleagues. Louise Blair, our head of HR, Paul Hurley, Helena Bogdanovsky. I've really learnt a lot from all of those guys. Yeah. And I think if, you are looking to enter the operational background and this environment, I think it's really important to work with those sorts of people that can mentor you, but also just get some exposure to different areas of the business and build really strong relationships with them.
Yeah, I found it to be really important for me to get to know different people in different areas of a business, even if I want to stay in my lane, even if I want to be an expert in marketing or podcasting or social media. For me to do the best of what I can do in my role, I need to understand what everybody else actually does. And it becomes an internal relationship thing. It's winning hearts and minds internally. Yeah. Because there are things that I could be doing that could be winding that person up over there. I could be talking about recruitment on my social media and podcast and all of that. The other person's going, hang about, you're stepping on my toes here. Or what you're saying is bringing in too many people. It's not going through the right processes and they're not going into the database in the right way. You're promising the earth and we can't deliver it, Sam. And these are all the things that you've got to know. You've got to understand what everybody does, the problems they're under, the challenges they're under. But also, is there anywhere I can help them? Can I fix some of the problems that they're experiencing? Because not everybody in every role is winning people's hearts and minds. And I think what I'm learning from you is it's like having that bigger picture, isn't it?
It is.
Like, how does everything work? How does it all interconnect? And that's often how my mind works, is I'm looking all the time, right, I go into a new business, I want to walk around, shake the hands of everybody who's influential within that business, first of all, because I want to know how the brain works. How is it all connecting? Is there any problems anywhere that I can help with and that I can fix? Are you quite that mindset? Are you a kind of almost an engineer, isn't it? An engineering mindset.
Yeah, I mean, we have really open lines of communication as well. And I encourage all of my teams, they might work in different areas. So someone might work in private wealth, someone might work in second sight. A lot of them have got history as well. So they've built that relationship up. But I encourage them really to be able to talk and to find out what's going on. But exactly that, I'm very aware of strategically, because that's part of my role, what is happening, where our focus is, and what else is occurring across the business. And I encourage my team to make sure, and they're also aware of what's occurring. So exactly that. If they're doing something, it doesn't have an impact over here. But equally, if there are opportunities that they've identified in another part of the business, absolutely, we should be sharing them. And I think what we are also really good at is, if I go back to our acquisitions, which I'm often involved in, just because we've got processes and procedures or we do something in a particular way, it doesn't mean that we're going to ride roughshod over an acquired firm. Actually, if they're doing something better, we'll make sure that we adopt that process as well. So we're really open-minded, and it might work really well over here in a financial planning firm that we've acquired, and it might work really well over here in another part of our business as well. So we're really cognizant and really aware of that. And I think it is really important in this role.
Yeah, remain teachable. Listen to others. Because sometimes the biggest lessons can come from the smallest opportunity.
Absolutely.
There might be a small little firm you acquire and you think, well, hang on about, they're doing an amazing job there. Imagine if we put it into our business, which is a lot bigger, it's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to find those opportunities, haven't you? But you're not going to do that by telling somebody. You've got to be listening a lot of the time, haven't you? And I think a role like operations is a lot about using the old ears and listening to what people are up to, and then influencing the flow of those ideas and that energy. So when you talked about things like collaboration, that's music to my ears, because the last thing I want to do is go in somewhere and it's just this is where I am, this is my lane, and it feels competitive. Competitiveness, I suppose, in an operational role, in a leadership role, is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, when people are too competitive with each other, it causes toxicity. I love that feeling of being able to, I said it quite recently, I like the leadership team to almost feel like shades. You know, each person sits in a shade or in a certain color, and you can kind of go through those shades, and everybody's an expert in those different shades, and you move up and down it and flow through it. And that's how I visualize a good leadership team. Can I go from one end to the other and flow back and forth? And everybody's got that, but they're all also connected. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I mean, we are really lucky to have a really good working relationship with all of our leadership team. We're really collaborative. You know, again, one of the reasons I love working here is fast-paced environment. And we're involved in so many different things. Many of us are. And it makes a huge difference. But we're all aligned. We know what our strategic objective is. We're all aligned behind that. But actually, that shade of grey, we do overlap at times, but in the right way. Yeah. Actually, it works really successfully, and I hope our people within the business also find that as well.
But I think it should overlap. You know, people shouldn't stay in their lanes. It should overlap. So being able to take some time out of your own environment to sit in somebody else's environment is a positive thing, and I hear that happens a lot. So you've got, you know, the power planner that might then go sit in another team, you know, and learn about that side of the business.
Yep.
Whilst we're here, because I've not covered this much on the actual podcast, and you've been in that environment, but Second Sight.
Yep.
Can you just tell us a little bit about Second Sight and how that interlinks with Foster Denovo on the private side, for instance?
Yeah, sure. So Second Sight is our dedicated employee benefits division. So we work with corporate companies on all of their employee benefits, whether that's pensions, financial planning, or any other host of health and protection, for example, any other host of benefits that they might be interested in. We work with around 1,300 companies, so, you know, quite sizable actually. And really, I suppose our focus is absolutely on their financial well-being. So what sets Second Sight apart is that we can provide regulated advice to our corporate clients, employees and pension scheme members. But we're very focused on financial well-being as well. So we spend a lot of time, and we work with a lot of our corporate clients, advising, guiding their employees on their financial future. How it works is we actually do work really closely with private wealth financial planners as well. So many of our planners actually work alongside the corporate clients, will provide that advice and guidance, and sometimes, and quite often, they will then not just look at their pension planning and retirement planning, but actually seek out opportunities for the broader financial planning. And it works really well. It's quite a nice symbiotic relationship, and we're investigating and doing more and more that we can, really. And I would say we're one of the pioneers, really.
Love it. Fantastic. Thanks for that. Plug and play comes to mind. I'm a financial planner. I come into Foster Denovo. I want to plug in and I want to get going. So can you just kind of give us an idea of how operationally Foster Denovo supports someone who's thinking, do you know what? I want to be self-employed. I don't want to run my own business. I want to plug into FD.
Yep.
So can you just give us a kind of overview of what to expect if I was a financial planner like that joining Foster Denovo?
Yeah, sure. So I think we've mentioned earlier, financial planners are brilliant at financial planning, providing that advice and support to their clients. In our understanding and in our experience, they don't necessarily want to do the administration and don't necessarily want to do the power planning. So we are able to provide that support. So if a new financial planner comes into the business, you've got a dedicated client experience executive that looks after you and that does all of your administration for you, so you don't have to worry about that. We've also got a central power planning team. I think we've got 15 power planners now, so it's quite a sizable team. We also have a number of outsource opportunities as well, and we work really closely with the financial planner, looking after all of their power planning needs as well. So they don't have to worry about any of that administration, report research and writing. We look after that for them. We've also got a mortgage team as well. So if a financial planner also has opportunities for mortgages, whether they're a mortgage advisor or not, we can plug in there as well. So, we can provide the whole remit really and holistic advice and support that a client wants.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, the last thing they want to do is, just crashing around in the dirt thinking like, where can I write this business? Who should I pass it to?
Exactly.
You've got an ecosystem that's going to be able to support them every step of the way. Nikos was on the podcast previously, and one of the things that came up was this ability to scale.
Yes.
Scaling your business quite quickly within the Foster Denovo environment is a lot easier than doing it on your own in your back bedroom. You can use as much as you need.
Absolutely.
Power plan. You can meet, if you need to ramp it up quite quickly, if you need a practice manager, if you need to tap into somebody like Helena Bogdanovsky, who'll go out and find you a specific type of person who'll work alongside you. Again, it's just one less thing that you actually have to worry about, whilst you're also benefiting from, I always find this as well, is like benefiting from the brand development, because we forget, like, it takes time, energy, money to develop a brand.
Yes.
And to ascertain yourself as a leader within the market. And you've worked in marketing before.
I have.
How important do you think marketing is in financial planning, and why has it always been like secondary?
I know, it's a really nasty thing, isn't it? I mean, I'm hugely passionate about it. And if I look at my marketing team, who are fantastic, they spend a lot of time supporting a lot of our partners. But it's really hard if you're just an individual financial planner or a very small firm to get that brand presence. We've invested substantially over that time. We've invested in particular more recently in new tools and opportunities to help partners, financial planners, with their actual business development as well. So it's really important, but it takes time, it takes money, it takes specialism, it takes dedication. It does take time from a financial planner if they want to help build up their own profile. You know what it's like. You spend a lot of time having to do it. And I think it's underestimated. It's really important to have a really good team with complementary skills, again, coming back to that theme, around in order to build the brand. But it's tricky otherwise. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think it's a really exciting time for financial planning. You hear a lot of negativity, the advice gap, there's problems. Advice gap, aging advisors, not enough young people coming in. And we hear that a lot, but there is also an incredibly huge amount of opportunity. I mean, like 5 trillion being passed down intergenerationally over the next 20 to 30 years, to me, is a significant opportunity. What excites you about financial planning? What excites you about it as a career? Why should somebody who's thinking about it get into financial planning? So what's exciting about financial planning, and what's exciting about the future for Foster Denovo?
So when I look at my experience and how long I've been here, I have seen the demographic massively change of financial planners within the business. And, I can see more and more younger partners joining us now, which is really encouraging. More and more women joining us as financial planners as well. And that's really encouraging. And I see as well some of our financial planners, as I mentioned earlier, working really closely with Second Sight, speaking to pension scheme members and how they can build up their own, opportunities, but also plugging that advice gap. The difference here, and it's not just here, but the thing that I really love about it, and it's never changed, is the fact that we help people make decisions that are really sensible for them. We're providing them with that financial security, whatever that might be, whether that is securing a mortgage on their first home, to making sure all of their estate's sorted out, whatever it might be. And I am really lucky. We ask clients for feedback, and I get to see all of it. And it really resonates. You can see the feedback. And, we've got hundreds of pieces of feedback, thousands of pieces of feedback over the last 15 years. But you can really see the difference we are making. And that's really empowering. And it might sound a bit grand, but it is true. So I really like that about financial planning, I have to say. Foster Denovo, mentioned earlier, we're in a growth phase. We are investing in our business. We are innovating. We are absolutely looking at other opportunities to plug the advice gap, whatever those might be. But we're investing in our processes, our systems. We're looking at AI. There's a big project going on at the moment. So it's a very exciting place to be. I love the fact that we have not really changed. We are a people-based environment. It's never changed. Our cultures are still exactly the same. Our values are still the same. I love the fact that we want our people to grow and develop. And we have a lot of graduates join us, and we help support them, to get to the next level. We have lots of people join us, and just because you've come in and you do a particular role, it's really important for us to, again, identify how do you want to be able to grow your career? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, next year? And all of our managers have been coached, to do that as well. So, just our investment in our people is really, really empowering. And that's, for me, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, huge growth mindset here.
Yeah,
at Foster
it is.
Denovo. I do think it's a really exciting company and a great place to be. And I'm not just saying that because I got you on the podcast. It's because I've actually met people in here who've had some incredible career development here. And culturally, that's what it's all about, is investing in those individuals, recognizing in their skills and where they can take their career, but then actually encouraging them and empowering them to say, look, you can do this, you can move forward. And I'll tell you what, you're not in a box. You can go anywhere you want within here. We've got huge amounts of opportunity and we're not slowing down. I think, when you have a lot of small to medium-sized financial planning companies ran by people that are probably thinking about exiting their businesses, they're not really thinking about career development for the next generation coming through. And it does really fall on the shoulders of companies like Foster Denovo that are of the size now where you're going to have a significant impact right now. And I think if I was in a position in the UK thinking, where do I want to go? Who do I want to join? This is a really, really good company to do it. Because evidence suggests you do add value to the employees and push them forward. Yeah. Listen, I could talk to you all day long, but I think you've given a really significant overview of what you do, the impact you're having and where Foster Denovo are going. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Financial Planner Live podcast. We obviously wish you and Foster Denovo all the best and all the success in the future.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.